I think we should start every video like this.
Here we are.
What do you have to say today, Bodhi?
Well, it's been a big week. Got lots of plans.
Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I have an awesome video for you guys today because it is the Healthy Maven's 4th birthday, a blogiversary, a blog birthday. I don't know what to call it, but if you're new around here, I run I say health and wellness blog because I don't really know what it is, but it's a blog. It's called the Healthy Maven, and I've been running it for 4 years now. And I'll just give you a brief lowdown on sort of like how it all got started. If you've been reading for a long time, feel free to skip through this. So I started the blog when I was working full-time in Toronto. I was working in a hospital doing neonatal brain imaging research. Not interesting. I really was not in love with my job, but had a passion for health and wellness and was loved working out and cooking and coming up with cool creative recipes. And I just felt like at the time, no one wanted to talk about this stuff with me. I was 23, I was kind of lost, and people were more interested in eating Special K, 100-calorie packs than they were in nourishing their body with real awesome, delicious foods. So I started a blog just kind of as a place to talk about this stuff. And it really grew into something way more than I ever expected it would. And there's a lot that happened between that day and where I am now. And if you guys want to hear more about it, then I'm happy to do a video on that. But basically, what started as a passion project ended up turning into a business. And now I run the Healthy Maven full time. And it's the coolest thing ever. And I absolutely love it. And there are days when I'm like, oh, this sucks. But all in all, I love what I do. And I'm so incredibly grateful that I get to do this full time. But I've learned a lot along the way, a lot. And I've learned a lot about life. I've learned a lot about blogging. I've learned a lot about myself. And today I just kind of wanted to go over the top things that I've learned in blogging. And hopefully you can get something out of the wisdom that I've gotten over the last couple of years. So yeah, I got my phone here because I wrote them all down because I'll forget. But check out the blog posts today. I actually shared my highlights over the last 4 years. So memories that I have, just accomplishments and stuff. So yeah, I'll link it below if you want to check that out. But today we're focusing on kind of the lessons that I've learned. Numbers don't define you. And I know a lot of people say this and it's what does that actually mean? But when I started the Healthy Maven, I was still kind of transitioning out of feeling like the number that I saw on the scale defined me, and eventually it kind of translated into how many likes do I have on my Instagram image, or how many page views do I have? And none of those ever gave me the same kind of personal gratification that finishing a blog post, or nailing a recipe, or taking a beautiful image. Those were the things that validated me, that made me feel so good about what I was doing. And if you read the blog post today, I share a lot of these highlights, but honestly, when I think back on the last 4 years, what stands out most to me is not the number of Instagram followers I have or Facebook likes. It's the fact that I showed up every single day. I showed up when I felt like no one was reading. I showed up when I felt like the only person reading was my mom. I showed up, and that to me has given me so much more validation than any number of numbers. So yeah, numbers, they don't define you. You can look at them. I look at my numbers, but they don't tell me how well I'm doing or if I'm a good enough person or any of that. They're just there. They're a metric, but they're no more than that. Close, real close, they might learn some. Number 2, fake it till you make it. If you don't believe in yourself, trust me that nobody else will believe in you. And it's hard to believe in yourself, especially when you're starting something new like a blog. You just you question whether you're good enough. But honestly, you just got to fake it until you start to believe it. And I remember feeling why me? Why could I, how could I run this as a business? Why does anyone care? I still have those feelings of why is anybody watching this video? But you do. And honestly, I feel like I have something to say, but it took me a long time to get to that place. And it really meant kind of faking it pretty much. And people ask like, when did you know you were ready to like transition it into a business? And I was honestly like, I just decided I was running a business. It's as simple as that. You just have to make the decision that you are going to be successful. And if you can adopt that kind of attitude, I promise you that other people will believe in you too. Of course, this requires you to step outside your comfort zone. It means promoting yourself in a way that's kind of shameless, but if you don't do that, then nobody else is going to listen. So you really have to you got to believe in yourself, and if you can't believe in yourself, then fake it. It's the closest thing. Number 3, you have value. You have something to offer. It's not always the most obvious, but you have to find what your unique skill set is. Everyone is different. Everyone has something to offer that's different from the next person. Everybody is a little bit smarter in something, and that's where your value is. And you need to figure out what that value is and also realize that other people can find value in that. And I mean this both in terms of like your self-confidence, like it's so important for you to figure out like what are my strengths, but also in terms of running a business. I have a lot of people ask me like, I don't know how much to charge, or like, my page views aren't high enough. And it's not about that. It's about what can you offer? What is special about you that you can offer that nobody else can? And everybody has something like that. Number 4, stop trying to label yourself. I mean this in terms of your diet, your life, and especially if you're running a blog. I started off the blog and I didn't really know everything that I wanted to talk about. I kind of let myself explore, and I talked about fitness, I talked about food, I talked about wellness. I would write like weekend recaps. For like 2 years, I did a weekend recap every single weekend. And it's changed so much since then. And even now, I still can't put a label on it. At one point, I was kind of labeled as a food blogger, and it never really felt comfortable or right for me. And I just was trying to like fulfill basically this prophecy that other people had set for me, because I did post a lot about food, but that doesn't necessarily make me a food blogger. You don't have to fit yourself into a narrow box or feel like that's the only thing you can talk about or that's the only way you have to live. I still don't really know what the Healthy Maven is all about, but I know for a fact that it's about me and my journey and my life. And if it didn't change over the course of the last 4 years, I'd be a little bit afraid because I've changed so much. And I want my blog to be a personal reflection of that. So yeah, it's harder to define, but it's much easier to live not feeling like I have to like stick within, this really narrow box. As long as you got your suit. Number 5, you don't get what you don't ask for. And for real, guys, if you don't ask for what you want, I promise you, nobody else will. I mean this in business. I mean this in the relationships that you have. You need to be so clear in what you want. And yeah, you can change your mind, and yeah, you can make mistakes, but if you don't ask for the things that you feel like you deserve or need or want, you're never going to get them. So don't be afraid. Don't be scared. Even I still deal with this a lot of the time, where I feel like if I ask for something, I'm going to lose an opportunity. But honestly, if it isn't going to give me the things that I need to do my job well, or the things that I want to be happy, then I don't really see the point in it. Number 6 is set boundaries. And this was a really hard one for me to learn. When I first started the blog, I was working all the time. Granted, I was working full time and then also working on the blog every night on the weekends. And I get it. If you're in that position, you kind of got to hustle. But if you're starting to transition into a business, or even just like outside of blogging, you gotta set boundaries. You have to figure out when you're working, when you're not working. Self-care is so unbelievably important. I basically drove myself into the ground and got super burnt out. And it's hard to show up when you're really, really burnt out. So I now take vacations where I do not blog. I'll share some stuff on social, but I'm not as present or active as I normally am. I also take almost every single weekend off unless I absolutely have to work, which I really try not to. And I try to work a normal work day, so like 9 to 5. And yeah, there are days when that doesn't always happen, but I really, really try and make a point of sticking to that kind of schedule. And I also mean setting boundaries with people in your life, you know, things that you'll tolerate and things that you won't tolerate. And again, something I still really struggle with, but you know, brands will ask, you know, we want control of this, or we want you to say this. And it's like, no, I'm sorry, I won't do that. This is my business, this is my blog, this is my brand. And I know you guys, like I know you so well and you know me so well. And if somebody tries to put words in my mouth, it's not gonna go over so well. So definitely standing my ground and setting boundaries has been huge, just a huge life lesson outside of just what I deal with the blog. Number 7 is pay it forward. It's hard to feel sometimes like, or it's easy to feel, I guess, that this world is shrinking and that we have to grab as much of it as we can before it disappears. But honestly, it's only expanding. And I'm talking a lot about this in a future podcast episode, so stay tuned on Wednesday for an episode where we're talking all about the concept of shine theory and like why we need to be supporting each other. Because honestly, it's still not easy for me, but I've only gotten more by helping and supporting other people. It's, you know, even if at first you have to do it for like self-assurance, then go for it. But honestly, it feels good to help other people and you're really not losing. You don't succeed at the expense of other people's failures. You have to support everyone around you within reason, of course. Like I said, boundaries. I have people who basically want me to like hold their hand, start their blog, run their social channels, and at some point you got to be like, if you need this kind of help, then you got to pay me. But if someone needs help with like a simple thing like a question for video or for Photoshop or something, help people out. Like be kind to others. It really only lifts you up when you lift other people up. Number 8, this is your journey. You are on this journey on your own. You can get help from other people, but don't feel like you have to do things like how everybody else does them. You can be you, and people see it when you're so uniquely you. So don't try and force it. Don't try to be something that you're not. Be you, fearlessly, shamelessly. Just do you. I promise you it will feel amazing and people will want to listen. That's it, guys. I hope you took a thing or two away from this video. And if you want to hear more about my blogging journey, lessons learned, just comment below letting me know and give this video a thumbs up so that I know and I can create more videos like this. And please subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much if you've already subscribed. And just thank you to everyone who has supported me along the way. I am so grateful. I don't even think grateful really encompasses how I feel. Like, I cannot believe I get to do this every single day. So thank you from the bottom of my heart to everyone who has supported me. I am so, so grateful. All right, guys, I am back on Sunday with a new video. I actually filmed a week in my life. So you can actually see what it looks like to blog full time. And there's new videos coming every Friday and Sunday, in case you're wondering. So yeah, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you on Sunday. Have a good one.
Bodie, come on. Come on.
Bodie,
Come on.
you can't be in this video.
Bodie, come here. Come here.
Bodie, go. Who's that? Don't you knock the camera.